Hey friends, how's it going? This is the second Neon Revolt article I wanted to go over. Again, just as interesting as the last. If you're not familiar with Neon Revolt, go to his site, neonrevolt.com, and check it out because he is extremely smart at decoding a lot of Q's stuff. And it's not all based on Q. It's based on a lot of other things that tie in with what's going on now. And he's extremely smart. He's on point with all of it. And if you don't know about him, go over there. I'm sending all foot traffic to neonrevolt.com. If you're new to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you click the blue bell to get notifications, because I have been shadow banned. One more day and I will be able to live stream with you guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this. This is true reporting. So this article, this Neon Revolt article, the missing eye satellites, Iridium, and the importance of secure communications, hashtag QAnon, hashtag Great Awakening. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. I want to direct your attention to these older Q posts for a moment, because frankly, I think we may have some fireworks in store for the very near future. Q posts missing the letter I are markers. This is from December 23rd. What rocket fired today? In the kill box, I. Message sent, Q. Iridium? Q response. Future news will unlock more of the message. Missing I confirmed. Q. Then we go here to February 13th. Think image drop. Think original post. Think united. When does a bird sing? Everything has meaning in the kill box. I. Q. I want to focus in on that I in the kill box. The missing I. Q confirmed the meaning above, Iridium, but it might not have been immediately apparent to many what Q was talking about. He was talking about the satellite phone company Iridium. Iridium next 5th launch highlights. How does Iridium fit into the broader operations of the cabal? Simple. They were trying to set up a secure communications channel for all cabal operators. They know the capabilities of the ubiquity of the modern surveillance state, not that they worked around it very well. Think their shared Gmail accounts, and they needed a private way to communicate globally. We're talking about being able to coordinate everyone and everything, from politicians to puppets to field agents to false flag operators. What better way to then build what is essentially a whole separate network, completely free of all terrestrial hindrances? If someone wanted to spy on the cabal or shut down their operations, they would force them to literally have to launch a space mission. They were looking to go off the grid by building their own separate grid, and if anyone was trying to tamper with their communications, they would know it well in advance. Which, if you think about it, helps explain Trump's recent Space Force remarks about how space is just another domain of warfare. He's right. But Anon helps explain further. So right here it says there are two Freudian slip, two Trump tweets. Wow, word seems to be coming out that the Obama FBI spied on the Trump campaign with an embedded informant. So we look here. They've been attempting to set up a secure telecom system. Remember this? Remember the I in the kill box? Q December 23rd. What rocket was fired today? I in the Q box. Message sent. I in the kill box. So it says answer. SpaceX launch. A two-staged Falcon 9 booster lifted off from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California tonight, December 22nd. Lofting 10 communication satellites for the commercial Iridium Next constellation. Who, what, when, where, and why? Iridium Communications owns an expansive array of telecommunications satellites. Iridium Communication. The Iridium Communication Service was launched on November 1st, 1998 by what was then Iridium SSC. The founding company went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy 9 months after on August 13, 1999. Iridium service was restarted in 2001 by the newly founded Iridium Satellite LLC, which was owned by a group of private investors. Although the satellites and other assets and technology behind Iridium were estimated to have costed around $6 billion US, the investors bought the firm for about $35 million. It provides service to a variety of clientele, including the U.S. government in general and to the Department of Defense specifically. The system is being used extensively by the U.S. Department of Defense through the Department of Defense Gateway in Hawaii. A bit on their system. Iridium Satellite Constellation. The Iridium Satellite Constellation provides voice and data coverage to satellite phones, pagers, and integrated transceivers over the entire Earth's surface. In 2017, Iridium began launching 16, 17, 18, 19 Iridium Next, a second-generation worldwide network of telecommunication satellites consisting of 66 active satellites with another 9 in orbit spares and 6 on the ground spares. Note, Motorola made a key hire of the engineer who set up the automated factory for Apple's Macintosh, and their involvement with SpaceX. In June 2010, Iridium signed the largest commercial rocket launch deal ever at that time, $492 million contract with SpaceX to launch 70 Iridium Next satellites on 7 Falcon 9 rockets from 2015 to 2017 via the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The cabal worked with China's ZTE for these special phones, and MI was smart enough to ban them. Military was smart enough to ban them. The U.S. military bans Hawaii ZTE phones. Distract your competition's attention by attacking them from the front, and then take them on where they're weakest. Chinese tech giant on brink of collapse in U.S. Cold War. The art of the deal. But past negotiations have been so one-sided in favor of China for so many years that it is hard for them to make a deal with benefits on both countries. POTUS. And the POTUS tweets this at 1:45 p.m. May 17th. The I highlights the word, and I believe what we got out of the deal. Got all that? You can go to all of those links if you want, but it is not necessary at the moment. What you need to know is this. Iridium was founded, went bankrupt, and then bought for pennies on the dollar, rebooted, and planned to launch a metric buttload satellites with the help of SpaceX, on top of making their network compatible with phones from Chinese manufacturer ZTE, which the U.S. military would later ban. SpaceX to launch new Iridium Next satellites in May. The Iridium Next satellites are slowly but surely starting to bring wireless internet to underserved areas. The satellite platform, known as Iridium Certus, is described as with better coverage than any other mobile wireless network and a wide range of available speeds. It will deliver global reliable. And Anon also speculates here that Trump team was potentially able to get some kind of embedded system in these devices at some point in time, which of course fits the Q drops from the other day concerning the pallets of phones shipped in from China and distributed with the cabal. Caught up in the crossfire, things are going quantum. New Q, QAnon Great Awakening. One of the ways I know Q is a team and not just one person is the sheer volume of information going on in the drops. Q team just doesn't stop, even when I do. Seriously, I'm not feeling too hot today, and in truth, I probably did it to myself. So, to reiterate, the cabal was trying to build their own private communications network in space. They wanted to use satellite phones to communicate with each other so as to avoid all forms of domestic surveillance and law enforcement. Meanwhile, they were building a Chinese-style citizen credit score system for the rest of the terrestrial plebs. A system of total control. Privacy for me, but none for thee. Hey, you know who else had one of these banned ZTE phones? Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as well as a black ZTE cell phone with the front and back camera covered in tape, and that was used by Stephen Paddock, and a Samsung Galaxy S6 active in black case. Both cameras taped over, huh? Almost like he was worried about someone spying on him or something. Again, go back to the article I wrote, link above. If you need to, Las Vegas was an assassination attempt that went south, and as a part revenge, part distraction, the cabal opened fire on the public below, attempting to blow up these gas tanks that were a ways away so that multiple cabal operators could escape. The reason the assassination attempt failed was because their communications were compromised. They might have suspected it at this point, which would explain the tape around the cameras, but they went forward with their operation anyways and thankfully ended up failing. But back to Iridium. You'll recall the recent SpaceX launch was called off at the last moment due to some kind of part failure on the onboard computers auto-aborted the launch. They decided to reschedule for tomorrow. SpaceX launch of NASA and Iridium satellites delayed until May 22nd. SpaceX's next Falcon 9 rocket launch will loft 2 Earth observation satellites and 5 commercial communications craft. Has been pushed back 3 days to May 22nd. Tuesday, rocket launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base, a satellite rideshare opportunity. Rescheduled SpaceX Falcon 9 launch to include pair of NASA satellites, 5 Iridium Next spacecraft. They clearly didn't want a repeat of 2015 when Facebook's payload went up with the rocket. And you'll recall this Q post. The SpaceX explosion blew up on one of Facebook's most ambitious projects. That was on May 11th. NASA captured the aftermath of the explosion from nearby Kennedy Space Center. The buzz. China's surveillance system can scan population in 1 second. Oh my God, I'm sorry. F9, Falcon 9, China. Further explore. Q. Essentially, Q confirmed here that the White Hats blew up that payload, so they must have had a good reason to blow it up, right? You'll recall from our original exploration of the subject that Facebook was supposedly launching some kind of internet broadcast satellite, but that's not something White Hats would just blow up. So they must have had a reason. Facebook must not have been completely honest about what they were trying to send up into space. SpaceX blew up Facebook's first internet satellite, and Mark Zuckerberg is not pleased. When SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket went up in a fireball of epic proportions on Cape Canaveral, Florida, launch pad Thursday morning, the good news was that he's just talking about it. So what if that was just an article. What if Facebook satellite was a key part of the private communications network, or worse? At any rate, they weren't too happy with SpaceX and decided to take matters into their own hands by creating a brand new shell company named the utterly generic Point View Tech LLC to launch their own rockets. Filings reveal Facebook may take on SpaceX in a battle for the skies. Facebook may be going head-to-head with SpaceX as new filings show plans to launch internet beaming satellites. It describes a plan to launch an experimental satellite named Athena. The whole FCC filing is heavily redacted, but notice how they dress up their ambitions with noble goals to broadcast internet to unserved and underserved areas of the world. Redacted for public inspection. Yeah, so we can just look down here. The mission will be to determine whether such satellite communications can officially provide broadband access to unserved and underserved areas throughout the world. The satellite's narrowband telemetry, tracking and command beams will operate in the S-band of 2082 megahertz, using less than 1.5 megahertz occupied bandwidth for the uplink, and in the X-band of 8,496.25 megahertz, using less. PDF source point view narrative redacted. When I read When I read that, I immediately remembered Zuckerberg's face from the congressional testimonies and how he perked up when asked about getting Wi-Fi to the middle of the congressman's state. So he pitches this all in terms of infrastructure and connectivity, but his smirk says he's getting away with something else entirely before going into his rehearsed lines. And of course, if you know even just the most basic things about tech, you know that Zuck is lying through his teeth right now. It's not super expensive to rig anywhere up, and mesh networks, seriously? No, he is launching spy satellites, and he's doing it through a shell company so as to keep Facebook completely in the clear should anything go wrong. He's using Point View Tech LLC to cover his pimply behind and hide what he's trying to actually accomplish, because Zuck is a serial liar, a smart liar, but a serial liar. He's not leaving any variables up to SpaceX. He wants total and direct control over this stuff, which is why he now has his own rocket company. Update, and the best part, the name of Facebook's satellites, Athena, as in Minerva, as in Ashura, as in Owl. Facebook may have secret plans to build a satellite-based internet. Public filings suggest the social media giant is quietly developing orbital tech to rival efforts by SpaceX and OneWeb to deliver internet by satellite. With all of that in mind, what comes next? Well, I think it's clear that white hats didn't want whatever SpaceX was launching a few weeks ago to go up in the air. Whatever Iridium was building, it was not going into orbit. I don't think they'll allow it to go up tomorrow either, but we'll see. Don't be surprised if we see fireworks. Space Corps, QAnon, no coincidence, social media, Silicon Valley, SpaceX, Facebook, the cabal, Iridium surveillance, Las Vegas shooting. Another great article by Neon Revolt, if I do say so myself. Like I said, all foot traffic, I'm sending all to neonrevolt.com. Check out his stuff. It is on point, top notch. If you found this informative on my channel, please subscribe and share this channel and share Neon Revolt's articles, because I thoroughly enjoy it. And, he's posted my stuff of me covering him, so I hope the feeling is mutual. And anyways, guys, I hope you have a great night. I'll probably see you guys Wednesday. And take care. Be safe to one another. Be kind to one another. And we'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.